Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we'll be reviewing Transformers Age of the Primes, Leader Class Onyx Prime. Onyx Prime here, as just stated, is a Leader Class figure, meaning that he retailed at the $55 to $60 price range. And, just looking at the figure currently, he looks nice. Let's see. The shades of brown, copperish, bronze kind of colors, along with the golds and silver accents here and there, blends quite nicely with this kind of sparkled effect that some of the parts have, along with just the overall kind of shine that the plastic has. We'll take that off for now. And just kind of looking at the figure and messing with them right now, Onyx Prime looks lovely. Back, the figure has this rather large wingspan. You know, it's bigger than my hand, which is a pretty rare sight nowadays. Not too many things are bigger than my hand, handheld wise. You know, I think those portraits are just slightly bigger. Either way, though, Onyx Prime here is lovely. Say. If I remember correctly, this is supposed to be a griffin. You know, there's not too much making me think of a griffin. You know, body of a lion, head of an eagle, and tail of a snake is, I believe, what a griffin is. I think the body of the lion has legs of the eagle. It also depends on interpretation. In this case, I can't really see the eagle or the snake part, but I can definitely see the more beastly nature of the lion. And the legs are actually given more hoof-like designs, make me think of a Minotaur. That'd be interesting, having a Minotaur-based Onyx Prime. Like, it turns into a bull, then its third mode would be like this Minotaur state, and then robot mode is, well, robot mode. That'd be neat. But Onyx Prime here is the prime of the Beast Formers. Stuff like the Predacons and the Maximals, I believe. And other stuff like the G1 Predacons, I believe, and I think a few other classifications. I don't exactly remember the lore around the primes. I mainly collected these guys just because they looked really cool. And I was lucky enough to get this as a Christmas present, actually. So I can't say too much about pricing-wise or my experience on buying this guy, because I didn't buy him. This was a gift to me. I got it on Christmas. I think last year, yeah. Well, it had to be last year. And I think I did a video on it, though. Or like a short showing off what I all got. But yeah. Enough of that. More on the figure. Figure looks good. I say the wings are, you know, nice. This piece used to come off all the time. I had to heat up the peg that it goes into and kind of pry it further out. So when I put it in, it would stay locked in easier. I think the other side's fine. Yeah, the other side's fine. There's this side, yeah. This side used to come out very easily. Now it takes a little more friction to get out, but it still comes out a little easier than I'd like. The Griffin mode, it's okay. I've seen better interpretations of a beast mode. This is very clearly just like, these are obviously the forearm. These are not forearms. Well, I mean forearms too, but these are obviously the arms of the robot mode. And I mean the legs, you know, they lend themselves to this design more. This mid-skirt piece kind of bothers me a bit because it doesn't really do anything. Because if I have this pushed up and I try to get the legs down, it results in this kind of weird ace stance. But if I do this, then it also just looks kind of stupid. And if I do this, it just looks like something. So what I end up having to do is just taking this off and flipping it around. And that just fills that spot in much nicer. and it doesn't make it look as stupid. And it actually works in robot mode too, as I'll show you guys later. But that's kind of besides the point. Alt mode's fine. You know, the beast head looks lovely. The legs are nice. The front legs are a little weird looking. The wings are lovely as well. They use this rubbery plastic though, which means that these come off their ports very easily. You could just kind of pry at them a bit and they'll bend and stuff. And I don't like that they do that, but they do. And I can't really stop that from happening either. I mean, I could try to glue it, but I'm not sure how 3 sets of chemicals are going to affect something. You know, we have our basic, I think, ABS plastic, but this also feels kind of like palm plastic. Then we have this rubbery plastic. Then mixing the glues chemicals, that could cause some sort of bad thing to go, and I don't want to risk that. Onyx Prime's first alt mode, though. It looks nice. I like it. You know, it's solid. Nothing's going to untab itself. So no complaints here. Beast Mode's head, Beast Mode's head, their mouth opens. It's on, I think, a ball joint. Yeah, I think it's a ball joint. So you got a full 360. Looks down that far, up that far, side to side a little bit. Not too much, though. And that's about it. This Beast Mode is able to do the... Alright. Wow. The Beast Mode has another variant, I suppose, that you could do. I believe this is a lot of people's preferred version of Onyx Prime. And it's using the legs that are used for his Centaur mode in the Beast Mode to make it look a little more different, to give it a bit more of a unique appearance. Some people prefer to leave the arms out like this, but I think that it gives it like a weird joint look, and I don't like that. So I opt to just have the arms shifted inward, and that honestly looks much better to me in this form, at least. There's never much of one to like that weird gap that's left open. And now we have this 6-legged griffin. And I much prefer how this looks, honestly. Looks much more appealing to me. I just realized I didn't really go over the wings too much articulation-wise. They flap up and down. They are on a little hinge that shifts them up and down. And as you saw earlier, you can open them out and splay them out. So yeah, looking as lovely as ever. This mode doesn't really change much. So yeah, we have rotations at the legs because, well, it's still the robot mode's articulation, just shifted down to legs for this. So not much else to say, honestly. So with that being said, let's go into our comparisons. We'll shift the wings up. So for Deluxe class, we have Quintus Prime from last video. Putting those two on the turntable. Quite a scale difference, as you can see. For Voyager class, we have Amalgamus Prime. Showing them off together, you know, they look lovely. But you could definitely see a change in ideology when it comes to designing these. They're cohesive in a way, but there is still a very clear difference. And for our other leader class, Megatronus. And honestly, seeing how these leader class figures have scaled up so far makes me really excited for when I eventually get my hands on a Liege Maximo. Because that figure genuinely does excite me. Saw him in person once at my local GameStop. Finally had the money to go get him. Went back, gone. I've never been more frustrated in my life. Upside though, bought Cole the Lamb. Fun game. And honestly, I'm happy I spent my money on that. That game is really fun. But you're not here to hear me banter about a game. You're here to finish this video and my thoughts on it. So, with that being said, let's go into Centaur mode. You can kind of do whatever you want with the wings. I'm just kind of messing with them. First thing you want to do is take the tail off and fold it out, as this provides us our bow. And grab Onyx Prime's spear, put the pieces together just like that, and this will provide us our arrow. To connect the two, there's a slot right here, tab right there. You know, put your two brain cells together and you should be able to figure that out very easily. Just put them together like that. And now, Centaur mode. We already got the legs shifted down, so not much else to really do besides shift this whole assembly upward. Move those out of the way. You want to go as far as you can till you kind of feel like a soft click, because once you feel that, that means it's locked in. Flip out the heels. I don't think you do this for the Centaur mode, but I'm just going to flip them out now so I don't forget them in robot mode. Split out the wings however you'd like. Take the griffin head, pull it back, kind of just have it sit there, I guess. There's no definitive spot to put it in this mode. Then you want to grab the shoulders, shift them out, do whatever you'd like with the arms from there. Then grab this piece, shift it down, and grab Onyx Prime's head. Kind of hard to grab, but once you do that, you have Onyx Prime's Centaur mode. I'm not a huge fan of this mode. Waist down, from like here down, I like it. It looks good. From the rest of the body upward, I like the head. I hate how this looks. It makes him look very spindly. Though, with that being there though, this does add butterfly joints that will help. I just shook the camera terribly. That will at least help with posing, you know? There's a little slot right here in his fingers that this nub goes right into, just like so. Then if we utilize this joint here, without popping off the shoulders again, it should be able to help us. It's not helping us. Okay, we'll just utilize the normal stuff. This is not a great look at it, as this looks kind of ridiculous. Like, it looks decent. I'm not exactly the biggest fan. It looks as good as Deathsaurus's combination kind of does. And I can't compare them. As you all know, I sold my copy of Deathsaurus off a while back. But looking at it, you know, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's not the greatest either. I'm not a huge fan of this Centaur mode too much. It's not visually appealing to me. And that's not because of the colors. The colors are beautiful, honestly. I like the colors. It's this shoulder assembly here that makes it very ugly looking. And I wish I could just kind of shift them in or find some other piece to bulk them up, but you can't. Because the pieces to bulk them up are these. And we're not using these right now. So this is what we got. But with that being said, all the articulation points are pretty much the same. The only difference is we can use this to rotate our arms. I think we could use that in the normal mode too. So I guess that's not really a bonus either. If you utilize this plates, I suppose, you can make it look like he's talking a little bit. You know, get some mouth movement out of Onyx Prime's Centaur mode without fully revealing the face. But, you know, we'll see the face in just a few minutes. We'll go over articulation in the main robot mode. Right now, we'll do size comparisons. No, the usual. There you go, get you kind of stanced a bit. Centaur mode, Onyx Prime, compared to Deluxe Class Sideswipe. Comparing the two scale-wise, the scale's fine. I like the scale. I just don't like how the shoulders look. It kills this whole vibe for me. So, yeah. Voyager class, we have Giaxis, who's quite tall for a Voyager, if I remember correctly. But comparing the two, looking quite lovely. And having G-Axis here, as I've mentioned earlier, makes me more excited for Liege Maximo, as both appeared in G2. And finally, 86 Megatron. Comparing the two together, you can definitely see the size difference now, and you will just definitely be able to tell the size difference later on once we get Onyx in robot mode, because that is just a huge increase in height. But right now, he just looks kind of there. But yeah, with that being said now, let's transform Onyx into... I hate when I pause between words. It makes it real choppy. Sorry about that. Let's transform Onyx Prime into his fully complete robot mode. First thing you want to do is lift up this piece right here. Spread the front legs of the Centaur mode out so these two parts don't collide. Because if you just leave them here like this, you know, these are going to collide and make it a little difficult and could risk chipping the paint. So, you know, make sure they're out of the way. Next thing you want to do is extend the legs, utilizing the double leg joint. Or not double knee joint, I believe. Move these wings back a bit so that they don't collide too much. Grab this piece, shift it around, pop the shoulder pad up. This will give us the proper clearance to snugly get that piece there. Slide this around. There's a little groove right there. You see that little tab? Actually, one second. This little tab right here is going to go into a little slot in the hoof right there. Just like that. They should slide in nicely. Keyword should. Doesn't mean it will. Like right now, it's refusing to slide into that. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it. Next thing you want to do is, first of all, move that shoulder pad up so you have the proper clearance to get that there. Close that back and just kind of have it sit there, I guess. Pop open the faceplate like this. There's Onyx Prime's real face. Then there's this section right here. There's some little slot or some tabs on the crest that go into these little slots right back here. So you just kind of want to push it in like that. Should secure, yeah, there you go. Secures everything in the back so it doesn't flop around as much. And one thing I like to do is I take his tail and I plug it in right here. I think that's what you're supposed to do for this mode, but I'm also not sure. It just helps store it much better. Then we'll just grab a spear, put it through the hands. Doesn't reach the ground, unfortunately, so it kind of just floats there. But we give that to Onyx Prime, have him stand, and there he is, looking as lovely as ever. This figure in this mode is what I love. I love how this looks. This looks great. This is my preferred mode out of any mode that Onyx Prime here has. I much prefer how this looks. Let's see. Move that up. There you go. This mode, solid. The robot mode looks gorgeous in this style, this stance. I like the spear. The spear is using the triptych mask, which is Onyx Prime's relic. I love it. On the relic, you can see his symbol right there, along with just a lot of this lovely detailing, looking gorgeous as ever. Back to the figure. I don't know why we're going straight to the back, but we are, since that's what we're doing now. Back to the figure is relatively clean. You can obviously tell that, you know, beast head here, but what are we comparing this to? Nothing. Because I don't think we've ever had a figure of Onyx. Have we? I don't have another phone anymore. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I got a brand new phone. You can probably tell with the audio quality, I think, being a bit better. But also, when my camera wants to focus, its quality has improved a lot more too. But yeah, new phone right here. Lovely. But it also means I don't have two phones like I used to. That was just a whole situation of payment plans and all that. That kind of screwed me. But, you know, what you gonna do? But Onyx Prime here looks good. I like the sculpt work all over the design. The forearm sculpting here, just lovely. I love how it looks kind of like forearm shields. I can't remember the proper name of those. I think it's called a buckler, I think. It reminds me of a buckler. Is that what it's called? I feel like I'm calling it the wrong thing. We're going to go with it, though. You know, going to act like that's the word. I think that's what it is. It's like a small forearm shield. I like these extensions, though. It reminds me of... Have you guys played God of War? If anyone here's played God of War, the diamond shield, you know? That shield. Not like this, though, but... I mean, one side's like this, the other side's like this, just, you know, upside down. This is really annoying for you guys, huh? Sorry. Figure looks good. Let's say, head sculpt is lovely. My lighting is not catching the red eyes inside that face as well as I'd like it to, but they're there. The face looks lovely. Let's say, we have the golden teeth from Centaur mode on full display, looking lovely. Chest has some beautifully painted accents of copper, gold, and silver, looking as beautiful as ever, along with some gold accents on the shoulders as well, along with just overall beautiful sculpting all over this figure. The paneling, the wiring kind of detailing that we just see all throughout this guy, beautiful, along with the kind of fur texture that we have down here on the lower legs, also looks really good. And I've got to say this, the wings, I don't really like the material they're made out of, but they look gorgeous. I love the sculpt work, again, the fur up here, the talon kind of detailing for the wings. It all looks great. I really do like how this looks. And honestly, excuse me, sorry. The figure looks great. I love it. Let's say my preferred mode out of all these is this mode, because it feels the best. This is definitely the mode they focused on when designing this figure. This is the mode they focused on the most. And honestly, I see why. I feel like if they fumbled the other modes and then they fumbled this, it'd be much worse. The Centaur mode's compromise is the ugly gap. The Beast mode just doesn't really feel great to handle. You know, it's solid, but it feels, I guess, improper. Well, not improper, but I don't like it. I just don't like it, and I can't put my finger on it. I'm not sure if it's just how it poses, how it feels. There's just something about it that I just don't like. I don't like the Beast mode. I don't like the Centaur mode. But I like this mode. This robot mode here is extremely solid. My one issue is the waist. And that's only because this gets in the way. Which brings me back to the first thing I was talking about with the Beast mode. Is I could just take this off, flip it upside down, and put it right here. And, you know, it don't look perfect. Like, I feel like if we kind of shift things... No. But it does free up a lot of this here. It's not my perfect solution, but it's a solution that I may use more just in the future. Because I do feel like the upper body, it looks good. I do feel like it's slightly, I guess, not as bulky. I do feel like this adds that nice kind of bulk that I look for when it comes to Onyx Prime. Because my interpretation of Onyx Prime is the fact that I think, you know, being the god of the beast formers, he should be more beastly, I think is the word, you know. He should be much stronger and menacing in appearance. And, you know, he's got the menacing approach quite well. You know, if I saw this guy's silhouette in person, like scale-wise, I would be horrified. but he doesn't look the strongest, I suppose. Now, obviously, we get that wingspan going, and now he looks like he's going to absolutely murder someone. And, his spear is, well, still a spear, but it reminds me of one of them Aztec clubs. I can't remember the proper name, but the ones with the obsidian spikes on the sides. It gives me that kind of feel. If there was a mod out there that made this, or like gave us like a small handle to make this a sword, or like the Aztec clubs, as I was just saying, I would love just to buy that piece, because I feel like this guy could kill it with an appearance like that. Like posing him around a bit, his little leg there's a little loose, but like if we pose him a bit, like this didn't take too much posing. No, the pose isn't perfect, but it looks good. I like it. And if we switch this around, then it results in this going up, and it looks it looks a little stupid. It looks a little stupid, I won't lie. What are you caught on? Oh. But I guess that's kind of it for criticism. The figure's good. I like it a lot. It looks great. And that just leaves articulation size comparison, I suppose. So let's get into that. Take this out of his hand. Makes it easier to pose. Figure's head's on the ball joint. Looks up that far. Down that far. Tilt side to side. 360 rotation at the head. Arms go up that far. Down that far. 360 rotation at the shoulder. 360 at the bicep. I think that's slightly past 90, but that might just be exactly 90. 360 not a 360 rotation, my fault. Rotations at the elbow is still there though. And hands open with all of his fingers being connected. 360 waist swivel once you move the front hip skirt and move this piece up. You have access to 360 rotation. Legs can go back that far, forward that far, out that far. 360 rotation at the thigh. Legs are on, I can't remember the proper name for this joint, but they have two knees like that. Not a double knee joint, because that means it bends back twice. But he's got a lovely leg joint and ankle pivots. And obviously, wing articulation, same as always. So not much else to talk about there. Figure looks good. Poses nicely. And I really don't have anything to complain about with this guy. Well, nothing left, at least. Final thoughts, feels great. So, yeah. With that being said, though, let's get our figures in. Deluxe class. Voyager class. And finally, Leader class. Don't fall. Onyx Prime is slightly taller than 86 Megatron, so quite a height difference in this mode compared to his Centaur mode. So that's quite nice. He's no longer the same height as G-Axis, that's for sure. Who is leaning forward, by the way? You shouldn't be trying to hit a Michael Jackson. But looking at it all together, looks nice. Figure is good. He poses wonderfully. If you're getting this figure, though, I do suggest keeping him in robot mode, if that's your style, I suppose. If you're getting him for, like, another beast former, cool. I don't blame you either. Just looking at it, it's nice. It's a solid figure. I like it. I like it well enough. I feel like if we went with IDW's coloring, it would have been much better. I think it's IDW. Is IDW the one that does the blue and gold with the bits of purple? If it's not, please correct me. But if it is, I'd much prefer that color scheme. But the browns, coppers, golds, and bronze with the silver, it looks great. I like this color scheme too. And with that being said, there's not much else to say. Figure solid. Pose is good. Looks great in robot mode. Beast mode has a bit more to work on, and Centaur mode looked It was an looking mode. But with that all being said, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If not, comment what I could improve on. As I've said in many videos before, nothing's ever perfect, but there's always room to improve. Thank you for watching, and see you all in the next video. Goodbye.